So there's some wardrobe changes back, but now we're not doing the 80 show anymore. Just some random hobby chat with my good friend Jason. So what's up? Uh-oh. I cannot hear you. Uh-oh. Nope. You're good now. Maybe on my end. Who knows? Uh-oh. Now I hear you.
I'm here.
Okay. All right.
Switch my connection in the hotel. So.
Okay. So, and so, yeah, I mentioned. I think it was before we actually started the last show, which y'all can go do. We talk about differences in collecting in the 80s versus now. But we've been talking about you posted a COMC video to your Preserve the Hobby YouTube channel, your first video. And it's just funny. I mean, we're friends and we talk, and we probably don't talk as much as we'd like to. And that's on my end, to be honest. Sometimes I get crappy about responding to messages. But yeah, it was one of those things like I didn't even really realize what all you were collecting these days. So kind of like, what are the things you're working on? I mean, obviously, I saw the video. If anybody joins us, they haven't. Oh, he gone. All right, well, we'll see if Jason makes it back. He said he was going to try to change his. There he is. He said he was going to try to change his. It happens, man. No big deal. I'm wondering what's going. I'm just curious why it's a struggle because we were doing. I thought from my end the last stream was good. I know you said afterwards you had some choppiness from me, but
because at some point. Spot to ever since it switched to the hotel.
Okay, you're breaking up, but I definitely got that. Hey, Herman, not sure if Jason needs to try and do something different again, but thanks for joining in. Not sure what you got going on out your way. We just did an hour and a half. We did We Love the 80s car show. Hold on. Okay. Go ahead, Jason. I got your text. Just go ahead and stop and rejoin. All good. We are back, Diego, but we're having some definite issues with the Wi-Fi on his end where he is, but he'll be back shortly, I'm sure. Yeah, no big Herman. It didn't announce very well. We just kind of, it was impromptu. Wasn't 100% sure how it was going to work because I just don't have that much experience with StreamYard. Like, obviously, when we do our show, you run it. I didn't know how to pull up. I didn't know how to pull up comments or anything. So, hi, honey. But yeah, so I moved that off in case you want to go that way. Whatever you want to do. No worries. But yeah, all right, so Jason's gone, so maybe we'll have him back here shortly. Yeah, it's kind of, we didn't really announce it. I know we were talking about, we were going to try to record them, and then I just kind of just wasn't feeling it for a while. I mean, I wasn't doing videos for a couple of months, and then I recorded with the NASCAR radio guys the other night, which is Jason, and then Val and Logan, and I just kind of said afterwards, hey, I know, you don't have anything going on Friday. My wife, who you may have just seen in the background, she scored some tickets to see her favorite band. I went with one of her friends tonight, so I had some time. So just thought we'd go just do it live, and it was cool to get some people in the chat, kind of like when we do our show. It was nice to just have some chat and some other thoughts, and I don't know what, about throughout the course of the hour and a half, probably had about 8 or 10 different people in there. So I was pretty happy with that, considering it's not anything I do with any regularity. I'm sure there's a lot of other live YouTube streams going on right now amongst people that I follow even. wondering if Mike Baseball Collector is doing something over there, because I feel like he usually does on Friday evenings of Dallas card shows. So there's me. I see Colby Flywheels is doing his affordable group break right now. Because I'm Carlos is doing his hobby talk. It's not too bad. Not too many. Well, that's on my home screen. I should go look at my subscription screen. See who else is going right now. Oh, Burke Knowledge. He's actually doing a fire sale tonight. So I'm not sure if I'm making people actually leave by saying all that. But all good. There's Jason. Now that I'm back on the screen, I can see him. There we go.
Sorry, I had to do a complete restart of the computer, but I'd rather do that than have the crackle the whole show. So
yeah, no, all good.
Okay.
So let me real quick. So Herman, I mean, we just did it live, so it's probably it's available whenever. I mean, I think you can see it before the full whatever as standard definition or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it should be available. It was just like a live stream. It's kind of like how when Bo does his in the mornings, even if he's only been done for 20 minutes, I can go watch it. But yeah, Diego, it was great to have you there. Glad to see you back. Usually watching affordable card breaks. I was gonna say, yeah, Colby's live right now. And then, so no, all good. So yeah, so I was just saying that, we don't get to chat as much, obviously, busy lives. You got a couple of young ones, so we don't get to chat as much. So I wasn't even really sure kind of like what you're collecting anymore. So I kind of got a little bit of a clue today based on your COMC video. So Herman, if you would go follow Jason's page. It's Preserve the Hobby, preserve with a space in between each word. But yeah, if you would go subscribe to him. So yeah, I got some idea, but like, what projects are you working on now?
So like,
what are you collecting these days? Whatever you want to say.
So what do you remember that stuck out to you? I'll go through stuff, but like,
well, I mean, so one of the things I was lost and confused about, obviously I know the Josh Fogg well. I get Bryce Harper.
First of all, I can't believe I found a Josh Fogg card that I needed.
I was a little shocked by that, because isn't your checklist down to like 20 or so? And I mean, they're like almost all 1-of-1s or 5s or something.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, I have to be the only probably collector / super collector of Josh Fogg. Played for the White Sox, Pirates, Reds, Rockies, probably most notably the Rockies. 225 cards or something on the checklist, and I'm at like 83% or something like that. And pretty much everything that I'm missing is a print run of 10 or less, which pretty much means I'll probably never find it. It's probably going to sit in a pack forever somewhere on Steel City Collectibles or Blowout shelf in their warehouse, something like that.
Well, maybe Bo will find it in one of his Goodwill finds.
Right? That could be a possibility. But for me, it's not just cards. It's anything autographed that I don't have. Jerseys, hats, pants, the whole deal. I mean, I think total number of autographs I have of him is over 100. 100 of worthless signatures, essentially, but to me, it's not.
It's funny you say that while I'm thinking of it. There is I believe he's an Andre Ellington collector on Twitter, and I think he has over 1,000 autographs or something. And I'm just fascinated by that.
Right. Pretty much the same thing, except for me, Fogg doesn't have that many certified autographs like Ellington does. But so there was that. I couldn't believe I found that card. So that's been sitting there for probably a year. And I just finally did this order. Yours I saw looked like it was one 400 count box. Mine was 3 of those.
Yeah, mine's one of the
through.
Mine's one of the one. It's like the 400 count, but it's actually the graded card box because it was full of graded cards.
Okay.
And so that is full. This is mine. This is all graded stuff. And again, you know how I feel about graded, so it has to leave you wondering what the hell is in there.
Yeah.
And then the rest of this came in a second box. Was the rest of it.
Yeah. So for me, I'm random. I do some sets here and there, and we talked about on the other show a couple minutes ago. Like I got some market side cards for my set, some heritage short prints, some Bryce Harpers, some Randall Cunningham, some Nemos, some Diego mentioned there were some WCW cards in there because once upon a time I lost one of the 3-row boxes. I lost one of those that was full of wrestling to some sort of water damage. I don't even know how it happened. So I bought some wrestling cards. The one he's talking about were Booker T rookie cards. That was 98 tops.
I think there was one. I think I saw one other guy. There were 2 Booker T's, and I thought there was another one.
There were some Stings, some Bret Harts. I think there was.
It was the Bret Hart WCW ones.
They're the stickers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just some random stuff. I'm gonna try to pull this picture up real quick.
And so, for those of you that don't know, Jason and I been friends for more than 20 years. We grew up in the same area, and I think he has a lot of the air quote problems that I have. That there's so much that he likes, and it's just so hard. There's so many projects out there all the time.
Yeah.
So many different things you want to collect. Sports. I mean, you're almost all sports, and then because you're with NASCAR radio, you started to get interested in racing cards. But you got the wrestling. You got, obviously, you're a huge baseball guy. Not as big into the basketball, football. There was a lot of 90s basketball in there. I remember, like some Iversons, like some rookies.
Oh, okay. So before I share the screen, because I have a couple pictures of some stuff I bought that I thought was interesting. I am 90% collecting baseball and wrestling. Like that's always been me. But I wanted some focus for basketball and football so that it wasn't left out, but it wasn't all over the map and all over the board like Diego's saying, because the way that it is right now, there's so much stuff, it's hard to focus. So what I decided to do was rookie cards of Hall of Famers. And for football, I'm trying to do as much tops as possible. And for basketball, I'm trying to do as much Fleer as possible. So I think you saw a couple like 95, 96, 97 Fleers. I think there was like Iverson. I'm trying to think who else. Like Ray Allen, like that type of $2 rookie cards. But just stuff that I don't have that I've probably sold once upon a time.
And the Fleer Mutombo rookie that I hate so much.
Right. So let me share this picture real quick. Well, 2 pictures real quick, and then we'll go into yours. All right, share.
Oh, I got some questions about yours.
Okay.
So yeah,
so we're gonna share the screen. Yeah, give me 1 second here. There's my screen. All right, so we'll do this picture first.
Is that PNC Park in the background?
Nationals Park. Get out of here with PNC Park. So we'll do this picture first.
You used to collect pirates, and you used to like pirates.
Yeah, but I got tired of it. So I'll show you this picture, and I'm gonna just see what questions you have.
Well, I agree with you. I love the Pacific back cards. That's another set that I think is truly underappreciated. When we were talking on the last show about like going up to Kmart and stuff, I feel like they used to have so many of those boxes that, I mean, that Isaiah Ryder was pretty cool. I mean, it's obviously not a 90s card. And it's funny you mentioned, and I thought about it. No wonder you gave me such a reaction. I talked about wanting to do a binder of, what was I calling it? Cautionary tales.
Yep.
Of guys to prospect. And I guess I didn't realize you were kind of doing the same thing. Again, I guess just even though we talk, I guess because, it's been, 5-6 years since we did the podcast that you had done. And that was kind of where we did most of our talking about cards. So, yeah, I'm in there. What was that? What's that quad one again? I forget. The one at the very
Okay,
upper
so,
right.
Yeah, there's a glare with it. So that is Craig Wilson. who was
Oh,
probably
that's right.
my
I like Craig
second.
Wilson.
Dude, I loved him so much. And I actually already have one of these graded. But there's a shirt, a bat, a shin guard, and then another shirt, which to me, that's two different pieces because one has a stripe and one doesn't. So I don't count that as doubling up. But just the way that Absolute and Leaf and Donruss were in the early 2000s, I just love that stuff. And then like the Ishmael with it being Rocket,
That
not a
was very
fan of it
cool.
being Cowboys, but it says Rocket. And then the Oregon, we all know my Oregon fandom. And then that Tulowitzki that's in the middle, that was something I posted on Twitter when I bought it because I spent, I don't know, $10 or $15 on Tulowitzki rookies, and I think I bought 7 or 8, including the autograph. But 10 or 12 years ago, I couldn't have gotten one of those cards for $10, I don't think.
And that's what I like about the where I said I'm going to do the cautionary tales binder. I'm still going to work on that, even though I am really working to get more focused because I just think that's fun. But yeah, some of these cards, like of the Rick Ankiels and stuff like that, ooh, that was super great.
Okay,
like the Rick Ankiels and guys like that we couldn't have gotten all those years ago. But yeah, the Craig Wilson, I get the love because that dude was, I mean, for what, probably about a handful of years there, he was the best thing the Pirates had going for him.
Yeah, and all
and
the
that's
positions.
Unfortunately not saying much.
So, okay, here's my other picture that I wanted to show. And I want to hear the questions that you have, knowing me and seeing what you see.
Yeah, I was a little curious about the Minkah Fitzpatrick. I thought he played at Alabama.
Yep.
So, yeah, I couldn't really find the connection other than just, you're being in the Pittsburgh area and maybe just, I think it can be fun trying to put those rainbows together.
So this is all of the colors that are like under $5. This is everything that you can probably get for under $5.
Okay.
I'm a Lions fan through and through. I will never be a fan of anybody else. But with where we are or where I'm from and you're from, we all know that the number one team here is Steelers outside of, like Cowboys or whatever, the national teams. But my wife, and her family, Steelers every Sunday, they're on TV. So you kind of get that attachment just because, not like you're forced to watch it, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, and the whole thing with me liking Oregon and the Nationals and the Lions, I don't like the teams that everybody else does. I always try to be different. Same with picking the players, hence Josh Fogg, Craig Wilson, all those guys. So that's where the Minkah thing comes from. And I thought, I don't do rainbows of anybody else. Let's just kind of throw one together. And that's kind of what we got. And it just snowballed. And I don't even know what the number was, 12 or 13 or whatever. But I didn't pay very much for them. So I know if you're a Steeler fan, you're Najee Davis, you're Ben Roethlisberger, you're Juju fan, probably more so than the other guys. So that's where the Minkah came in.
Yeah, and I mean he's going to be
different.
He's going to be a little cheap to collect. I mean, it's good
definitely.
Like Prism. No, I get what you mean because, I mean, I tell you, the concept of our 80s show is nostalgia, and I know you're not the biggest YouTube watcher, so I don't believe that you've seen every one or half of my videos.
Yeah, definitely.
But something that I talk about a lot more, it just seems like more by the year is nostalgia and just bringing back those thoughts. And one of the things I actually miss a little bit about being up there, and I mean, it's not like if I was there now you could have it, but for all of his problems, how can you not love listening to Bill Hillgrove call Steeler games? And when it was him and Cope and Tunch, that was a fantastic. They made listening to Steelers games fun, even though I didn't like the Steelers.
I would agree. I'm old school. I'll listen to a game on the radio, baseball, and not think twice about it. I'm the old school guy. I will agree with you on the Steelers. I can listen to the Steelers on the radio all day because the voices in. I don't know if it's because we grew up with it that it's natural, or if they're really that good. It's that thing of this is great because I'm not exposed to other things, or it's what is it? Are they really great, or is it just great because I'm not exposed?
I mean, Cope and Hillgrove, you can't argue, are two of the biggest name in Pittsburgh sports history. I mean, if you're going to do a top 25, they're easily in the top. They have to be in the top 25.
Right.
Not athletes, but Cope was so unique. And I mean, I remember watching him on Channel 4, and he would do that. This is Myron Cope on sports with that weird ass whatever he had. But yeah, I mean, I lived up there in Pittsburgh for a couple years when I was running that store at the Pittsburgh Airport and then Robinson Town Center. And yeah, I mean, I listened to him on the radio. I don't watch him on TV. I'd listen to him on the radio, even if I was home for some reason that day. That game was on the radio to listen to those guys. So, I mean, yeah, I know Hillgrove. I mean, he's definitely past his time, and he does. Yeah, he's also got some personal demons that he's had to deal with. But for what it's worth, I'm talking, 2000. What was I up there, Jason? Probably around 2003, 2004, 2005. They were still going strong.
Yeah.
I mean, and Hillgrove's the only one of that 3-man booth that's still with us. Because Tunchil getting passed late last year. But yeah, so I get 100% what you're saying about even not being a Steelers fan, but there is still that certain level of attachment. And now that I don't live there, I have that respect for how much the Steelers mean to that city, and and even though many of them are very obnoxious, how loyal those Pittsburgh people are to the Steelers.
Well, and to kind of sidetrack but stay on the same topic at the same time, where we are from, Morgantown area, it is like WVU through and through. There is no sports team that's professional within 90 minutes, we'll say, in any direction. And Pittsburgh is the closest, but for college, you put Eat Shit Pitt in the last video chat, and it's like there is a deep hatred there. And, when I worked at Lids in in the Morgantown store, we had some bigwig come, like a regional or something from corporate. And the guy said, I've never seen a city that was so enthralled with a team like like Morgantown and WVU. Like, even on days that weren't games, there's a ton of people wearing WVU shirts and hats and the whole garb all the time. And it's one of those things where if you don't see it, you almost have to be an outsider to appreciate it, because we grew up with it. It's just normal. But once you come from, say, if you came from Cleveland and went to Morgantown, you come from Cleveland and it's Browns, Indians, 6 colleges in the area, the whole deal. But you go to Morgantown and it's just WVU.
It's WVU, and I mean, honestly, if there's a number 2 team there, it's the Steelers. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm wondering who that was, and I have some ideas of who it might have been. But like you said, it's a product of where you grew up. That's somebody that lived in a city where college sports are not typically,
right,
the same. But I mean, because you can still find West Virginia, West Virginia, you can still find that in Auburn, Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in Bloomington, Indiana, Syracuse, New York. You can still find that, but yeah, definitely, some of those are better comparisons than others. Like maybe more of the 2 Alabama schools are a better comparison because there literally is nothing else going on in that state.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only difference is in Alabama, you got 2 schools. With us, you got with WVU and occasionally the little brother fan.
Yeah,
but that's
so a couple things. So that 70s card show is Star Lake near Morgantown. What is it, like an hour? something like
Yeah,
that.
it's about an hour. It's
It's
up.
a different state.
It's up closer to like the Don't you get off the highway at like Washington? I think
Yeah, so
Washington,
different
PA, and
state.
then go.
The whole state, 75%.
Yeah, 75%. You know, the further south you get and the further east you get, maybe not so much, but definitely the majority of the state because
Yeah,
there's just
and
nothing
then
else.
Korean cardboard Marshall is the other one, and
Welcome,
then
Dan.
everything else is D2. So
Yeah,
really doesn't matter. I
or
mean,
lower. Yeah, Marshall's the only other D1. You know, I can sit here and talk crap on them, but because
right? Yeah, that's a whole
they
nother
think
show.
they think that we are rivals, even though they have yet to ever beat us in football.
Oh my god.
They couldn't even beat us when they had the best wide receiver maybe in the history of football.
Oh, here we go. But
And they
anyways,
still couldn't beat us. But
let's
anyway,
talk about COMC.
uh, Tech is almost in West Virginia. You probably do get down there toward the border. You probably do get some people that are Virginia Tech fans, to be honest, because I think they've been able to poach a couple of those like linemen and stuff that are, you know, get some of them big old coal mining boys down there, and I think they've pulled a few offensive linemen in the past. But yeah, so going back to your COMC order, so here's one of the questions I have because I have no idea what the story on this is. Explain Brian Hunter.
Oh, okay. So apparently, I was very influential when I was a child. I had a neighbor that was 5 or 6 years older than me, but like we were friends. We played basketball together, baseball. I was part of the crew that was 5 or 6 years older than me because of this kid, and I was always included. So I would always hang out with him. For whatever reason, his mom, and then it transferred over to him and his sister, were Braves fans. So in the 90s, I was a Braves fan too, but not because they were winning. I was a Braves fan because I wanted to be like this kid that was 5 or 6 years older than me than I looked up to. So I was a Braves fan. Like I remember when Fred McGriff came and the stadium caught on fire, like all that stuff, Grissom, Maddox, all those guys coming over. So I was a Braves fan for probably 10 years, through the good years, and it was just pure coincidence. This goes back to liking people that are different. I liked McGriff. I liked Maddox, which was different at that point in time. Everybody around me liked Griffey and Bo Jackson, which I liked those guys too. But for the Braves, McGriff and Maddox were my guys. And then I picked Brian Hunter. I played first base in Little League. Brian Hunter played first base, and then McGriff eventually, took his spot or whatever. But I just wanted to be different, and he played first base. And I remember him hitting a home run, I want to say in the 91, maybe 92 NLDS, and he swung and stood there when he hit the home run. And that was just cool as shit to me. Like he just had a swagger to him at that point, and swagger wasn't even a word, I don't think, at that point in time. So I've always liked him. And with Josh Fogg collection being extremely stale, my guys in the 90s were Bobby Bonilla, Brian Hunter, Jeff Conine, Maddox, and McGriff. Well, who's the cheapest out of the 5? Brian Hunter. So I printed out a checklist off a trading card database, and I just sat there one night. I had $50 or whatever in my COMC account, and I just went boom, 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 and checked all these cards off, and I actually had to pay $2 or $3 for a couple cards, but they were like hard issues to find, like regional and stuff like that. But I just went through the checklist and pulled a bunch, and that what you see is what you get. And I'm up to like 80% of his already, just because I knocked out so many through that order.
Very nice. I mean, yeah, and I get it. I get it because, those card shows in North Central West Virginia, and there was a lady that used to set up at card shows, and I don't remember what her name was. She was always so nice. And she would pull, when she opened stuff, she would pull every damn Russ Davis card for me. So, yeah, Russ Davis was kind of my guy that was just kind of – so I talk often about my uncle that got me into card collecting. They lived, and my cousins grew up in Pleasant Grove, Alabama. Right next to them was Hueytown, which from the racing standpoint, you may know the Alabama gang. That's where the Allisons are from, like Bobby, Davey, all of them. Neil Bonnet, they're all like from Hueytown. But so was Russ Davis. And I remember my uncle telling me about this guy, and, he was a Yankees prospect, and he had all this power, and he did. And, I mean, he put up some big numbers, so he just kind of became my guy. And, yeah, I'm probably in that 80-85% range. But, again, some of the ones I don't have are just super tough.
Yeah.
There was like a 98 Platinum medallion. I went up to like $12 on that card a couple weeks ago, and somebody outbid me. I'm like, I'm not paying more than that for the damn card. I get that they're limited, like they have a print run of 200 or something, but yeah. So yeah, I guess I had forgotten your connection with 90 Tops, but obviously you.
I bought some rediscovered Tops. That was something where I was like, I'll try to put together a set. I know it'll probably never happen, but it's a good thought something to work on.
So somebody that I believe subscribed to your channel today, Shoebox Legends.
Yep.
He's working on that. He's working on the 19. That's his set too. He's working on the 90 buybacks, and he's where I got the buyback Franken set idea from and stuff.
Well,
that's
I think
something I need to get back on.
It's almost like T206 to a degree, because granted, I'm not comparing the quality of the set by any stretch of the imagination, but when you have different color parallels, not variations, when you have different color parallels because of the stamps being different color, in the words, I don't care what color it is. I think being able to get all 792 cards is a feat in itself. Because if you buy them individually, they're not cheap. Even for the common of commons, they're not cheap.
No.
But you can buy lots. I just haven't got that far yet.
Sometimes, but I tell you, when I go through spells, when it's one of the things I'm thinking of, and I go look at lots, they're still not cheap. You're still talking about a lot of people listing them and wanting like $2 and $3 per card.
Yeah, and believe it or not,
for a 1990 Bobby Ojeda buyback.
You will never believe this. I don't know if I've ever told you. I actually have a Josh Fogg rediscover Tops card.
I was actually going to ask that as we were talking about these. So, like, do you try to pick up any of those you can of the guys you collect?
Oh, I've only ever seen one, and I bought it. And I think I'm giving away my secret, but I think as soon as I saw it, I bid like $100 because I knew, as tough as the Beckett samples are from the early 2000s that were in the magazine, I've never owned one of those. I've owned different versions, but I've never found the Fogg, and that's on his checklist. I knew if I didn't get this one rediscover, it's a 2005, I knew there's no rhyme or reason to what they stamped. It was just, here's a box, just stamp whatever, and we'll throw it in. It might have been the only one ever, and it probably is, which sucks because with people doing lots of rediscover Tops, I have to look through those listings and those pictures, and it gives me something to do, but at the same time, it's a pain because if they just listed it as a single card, then I could find another one if it even exists, but I'll never know for sure.
I understand, but you're also talking to the guy that like probably about half of my eBay listings now are lots.
Yeah, I totally get it. I get it from your perspective, but from my perspective, don't make me do more work than I have to.
I get that. But the other thing that sometimes is fun is I've seen other guys on YouTube, they'll be like, I bought this lot because I thought I saw one card in there, and then they do, and then it's like it's the it would be almost as exciting to do that and find that as it probably would be to find one of those damn Beckett samples.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just because, yeah.
I asked Chris Olds back in the day, and I don't know if this was the right person to ask, but he was Ryan Cracknell at that point in time. He was, I don't know if it's the editor or whatever he was. And he said, yeah, they don't have a checklist. They don't know how many of each one were done. So it probably actually doesn't exist, but it is what it is. I'll never stop looking.
It's on the list, and yeah, you're definitely never gonna stop looking. No, I get you. So let's see, what else was in there that I can't remember if there was anything else that I just had a lot of questions, like that you didn't either answer the question as you were going through. Obviously, a lot of Bryce Harper.
2002 Tops 206.
Oh yeah, you said you were wanting to do the mini set of those.
Yeah. I'm working on it. So when it first came out in 2002, I was full on master set. Like I was doing autographs, relics, the base set, and minis. And then at some point, it was just like, I can't take this anymore. And I didn't keep what I had already worked on. I just was like, I'm done. I'm just going to get rid of it. And, you don't know that it's going to be a regret until it's too late. And of course, now it's a regret.
It's funny the naming and everything, but that is exactly why, even though I'm not even looking at T206 cards anymore, I have not sold my 100 or so T206 cards. I've just held on to them and been like, you just never know, because I have had regrets in the past of stuff I've sold. And I'm like, man, if I'm going to have regrets, it'll be on this.
So what happened was in 2020, Topps came out with the 206 set again, but it was all on demand. So I was ordering packs of every series and then buying complete sets. And that kind of got me to where it was like, hey, I saw what you were doing. And I knew that's just not in my budget. To $50 a card, $20 a card, that's not me. That's not what I do. I'm more of a 20 cents, 50 cents a card. That's where I'm comfortable, because I'd rather have 20 cards instead of 2. So when Topps brought theirs back, it was like, hey, Ken's doing this, Topps is doing this. Just like Diego just put, I kind of got the itch back. So I gathered up what I had, printed out a checklist, and then started buying. And the way that I'm doing it is kind of like some of the guys do it for the original. I don't care what the back is. To me, it's just going to be an accomplishment to have a complete set of however many, 500 cards or whatever it is, because there are photo variations that mirror the original. Some guys have like 3 cards and, different color backgrounds and what have you. So for me, I don't care what back it is, which probably means I'll never have any of the rare ones unless I, find a deal. So most of them will be Polar Bear, Tolstoy. I'm not going to have Cracker Jack backs for 100 cards, that sort of thing. So just getting the set complete will be a feat. And to me, it won't be 1909, but if I kind of think having different backs will make it have that feel, if that makes sense.
No, I get that. How are you storing / displaying? Are you doing the tobacco pages?
Yep. I actually have the BCW. Is it 24?
It's 20, and then 20. The Ultra Pro is the 15, but you have that extra space.
Yeah, I have the BCW.
I prefer the BCW, but I do hate how just a little bit of those cards kind of stick out. But I also think you're like me in that if one gets dinged, you're not gonna lose your damn mind over it.
Partly that, but also partly I don't like all that extra space.
That's exactly what I do not like about those.
So much better, I think, the other way.
Mm-hmm. And it's so cool, though, like you said, if you're getting all these different backs, it is, T206-ish, and that you see all those different backs when you flip to page 2 and page 3. And I mean, the other thing, and another thing is, and why some people don't like vintage and wouldn't want to go after it, and I completely get this. You don't remember watching any of the players in that set play, and
Yeah.
I get that. But those ones in this one, you've probably seen most of them play.
Yeah. I will say I was a little upset with the 2020 version because it wasn't the same card stock. It wasn't Topps flagship card stock, but it wasn't even the 2002 version card stock. It was like I don't want to say happy medium because I wasn't happy about it, but it was that in between. But all the corners were sharp because it was print to demand. It wasn't one per pack like it used to be, and it would slide in the middle and all that stuff. These were print on demand, cut, packaged, sent to you, and it was just too sharp. Although I still have them, and I'm not going to get rid of them, but just a little bit not there for me. Just didn't quite hit the mark.
But still working on the old one though.
Oh yeah.
I think I have a couple of those around here somewhere if I ever can find them and think of it. That's what I like about watching your videos. It kind of gave me some ideas because let's be honest, you and I just send stuff to each other.
Random stuff,
but
yeah.
you have sent me so much more than I've ever sent you.
Yeah.
And you have. And I need to, like I said, it was kind of nice to see that. And if you do start to become somewhat regular posting videos just of stuff you're picking up or whatever, that's extremely cool. And another way of looking at that, I'm not trying to get you to just do another thing, but if your boys do get into card, they're both boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
I'm just not the biggest kid person.
Second guess yourself. I get it.
And then I was going to be like, if he has a girl, he's going to punch me in the face next time.
Trust me, they're both boys. I hear about it not having a girl all the time.
But, if those boys do get into cards, and I'm taking this from what Diego has said about he had stopped his channel. He deleted all of his old videos. But one of his, I think it was one of his older sons, asked about his videos. And so he does it as much to document for his kids as anything else. And I know you had told me your son's starting to show a little bit of interest and stuff like that. So, it's definitely an added little, I don't want to say motivation, but you get what I'm saying. But then, like I said, it'll help me maybe try and find some stuff for you because, I feel like I owe you a crap ton of stuff.
Yeah. So real quick, we're talking about the sons getting interested, and it's not something that I've really shared for a couple years, but I also save sealed packs.
That I do know.
And it's so easy. Like, people ask me all the time, like, how do you keep them? And, how do you not touch them? I don't look at them. Like, I don't have them out all the time, but it changed with the pandemic. Don't get me wrong, because there wasn't as much to choose from. Excuse me. But if I would buy a blaster, I put one pack aside. And it's like grown into 4 or 5. I'm trying to count real quick in my head. Maybe 6 or 7 3-row boxes full of unopened packs. And it's like everything under the sun. It's cheap 1991 Pro Set, Yo MTV Raps cards. It's 2021 Topps Update. It's like everything under the sun. But I just get it. I put it in the box and I forget about it. I don't touch it. And the goal is, and for the first time, my son actually was like, hey, what's this box? And he's never showed interest before in this stuff. And I was like, well, you are 7, your brother's 2. My plan is, like, in 10 years or so, when you guys are of age to really understand what's going on, is to open 3,000 packs of cards and just, wing that shit and just look at everything that you not necessarily missed, but had through the years or could have looked at, and, kind of that history lesson at the same time, because you and I both know we're all about the history part of it and the brands and the manufacturers and the companies, and we all like that as much as the cards. So that's something I do, and it's an easy thing to do, and I've actually got some kind of valuable packs just because I put one away here and there.
You put them away at the time,
right? When they were $2.99, yeah.
Like what I'm thinking about is because we both have been off and on collecting wrestling. Like apparently the 2014 Topps Chrome stuff is just like going crazy, and I just remember buying blasters and blasters.
Uh-huh. And I still have the cards I got from you when I came to that Indianapolis show.
What did you get from me?
There was Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt and stuff like that.
Was it those X-Fractors?
Some of them, yeah.
I was buying those things because those were in you would get the 3 packs and the blister pack plus the X-Fractors. Yep. I was literally making money buying those. I was selling the X-Fractors for more than I was paying for the individual packs. Yeah, it was.
Because I bought a bunch of commons off of you.
Okay.
Commons at the time.
Yeah, no idea who or what or where or why. But hey, it makes me feel better knowing at least you have them instead of me like just throwing them out or something. I don't know that I've ever thrown out any card unless it was completely trashed. But
so I'm going to ask a question that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So that 70s show said going to an indie show tomorrow morning.
That's right. He's in Indianapolis.
Okay. Because I'm going to Florence, Kentucky on Sunday, and I didn't know where he was. So
is that may very well be the same show he's going to. That's the one you came to, the J&J one up in Fishers. I don't know if that's the one he's going to, but that's the one you came to because I think at the time that's when I was living in Noblesville, and it was just like a 15-minute drive down there for me.
Yeah, I thought about going, but it's like an hour and a half, and I don't know that I want to.
It is a little bit of a hike.
A little too far, yeah.
I know that I do note though that J&J, they have expanded. I think they do one in like Louisville or something now once a month, and I think there might even be a third location they're working at. I don't think it's Cincinnati though.
Yeah, so the one Sunday I'm going to is Florence, Kentucky. It's only 30 tables, but you know.
But how far of a drive is it?
20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, and you're not doing anything else.
Right.
Unless you just want to drive around all day and look for F1 blasters.
No, I'm good. So, but I want to know about yours because I saw a picture that you posted and I wasn't sure if it was all from this order or not. But I saw all your old football.
Oh, that is a different. So he's going to the La Quinta show. I remember that one is, I think, on the south side. I went to that one once or twice, but I typically live. I lived when I lived in Indianapolis, I lived downtown for about 3 years, and then I lived on the far northeast and then the far northwest. So I rarely was in the south part, but I think that's where that La Quinta show is. So if you decide to go, that might cut 20 minutes off for you. Because 74 goes in through the south side of Indianapolis.
I don't know.
I'm just saying it does. It goes through the south side though, because 74 is if I remember correctly, 74 is you take it into Indianapolis, it becomes the southern part of the Beltway, and then you kind of go around up, and then it continues west.
Yeah, there's one in Dayton this weekend too, but it's an hour, and I'm just like, I don't know. I like 20 minutes. That's good.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. So you were talking about the vintage football. Was that the big vintage football and then the one baseball? This one?
Was there a baseball? Yeah, maybe there was. There were probably 20 cards.
So that was not my COMC order. That's actually from someone else. It's a bunch of 1950 Bowman football. This is a
That's
set.
What I was wondering.
So at what point of having cards are you working on a set instead of just acquiring cards from a set?
That is a good question.
I'm
going to go with 25%.
Is it a quantity or is it an action? Is it that I'm actively searching and I have a checklist? So I bought these. This was from he's Dega Vintage on there. He works on Saturdays at a card shop in Tennessee, and they had a bunch of these in their $5 box. So I just said, okay. I told him, I said, this is what I want to spend. pick me the best ones. He's like, what numbers do you have or need? I was like, you know what? Probably anything you have is going to be an upgrade over what I have. And if it's not, I'm fine with having doubles because I can trade them.
Okay, so before we go any further,
So this was not COMC.
$5 a card. What year are those cards?
1950.
I don't understand with what is happening with cards. And things are just like through the roof right now. Not as much as they were, don't get me wrong. But still, a blaster that 2 years ago was $20 is now $40. How do cards like that are, we'll just say 70 years old, cards that are 70 years old, how do people pass them up for $5 and not even think, well, I'll just put a new sticker on it for 10 and make my money back? Or think, $5 for this card, I'll keep it for 30 years and it's 100 years old, because look where the T206s are now. A cheap one is what, 25? I just don't understand. Yeah, Diego's probably right with ignorance, but I just don't understand. We have become so interested in the hit. This is a hit.
That's what it is. It's the hit, it's the shine, it's the mentality of being online and being able to say, I hit this is what I got. But it's kind of like I said, I don't know if I said it at the last show or I said it on this stream. I get why people aren't drawn to vintage. If you don't have a connect, for me, cards are connections and memories and nostalgia. Now, in this case, I don't have any memories or nostalgia about these. I just think they're some of the most beautiful trading cards ever produced. So I can understand when people aren't into vintage. What I can't understand is when people say, I'd like to have a T206, but I can't afford it. No, you can afford it. You go buy that and you buy 2 less flagship blasters.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm just as guilty on that. Don't get me wrong. But for $5, that's a different price tag.
Yeah. And I mean, they're commons, but, and I'm not a set builder, but that I'm working on the master set of the T36, which is the auto drivers. I have the base set. So as you said earlier, there's 25 subjects. They have 4 different backs each. So I am working on the complete master 100 card set. I don't know that I'll ever accomplish it.
Right.
But, I want to do the 50 Bowman. There's some of the other more historical ones. I have thoughts of doing it, but I may have to win the lottery first. I'd like to put the 35 national Chickle together, stuff like that. I'm working very passively, and when I say passively, I'm picking up maybe 2 or 3 a year on the 1955 Topps All-American football set. Just to me, a classic set. The great thing about that set is there is no shortage of those cards available. The only thing preventing me from having that completed is deciding to allocate my funds there from somewhere else. But yeah, so that's where that was, and I'm going to slowly continue picking some of those up off of him, off that card shop, just to kind of start working on that set. I don't really have many of the big ones. I have the Marion Motley. I bought that, but I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. It's a pricey one, but I've got it. My suggestion, and I've said this other times, if you're ever going to do a vintage set, if you ever have these thoughts of doing something like that, my suggestion, because knowing me, so it may not be right for everyone, you buy the stars first. Because the prices are only going to go up. They're not going to go down. Number 2, if you decide that it's not for you, you can move those stars a lot more easily than you can move a bunch of commons. Because it's possible you may just decide, I don't want to do that. But it's easier to move $1,000 worth in 3 Hall of Famers than it is $1,000 worth of $5 commons.
Yeah, and that's pretty much true for anything right now. I mean, we talked so much about the commons and the base just being left at tables and stuff like that. So that's just more evidence of that. So I have one huge regret now that the pandemic has happened and kind of, cards have done what they've done. In the early 2000s, I was like, I want to work on a vintage set that's not difficult, not super pricey, but has some potential. In whatever year it was, I was like, I'm going to do 1948 Bowman baseball.
Okay.
And I bought handful common cards on eBay. And this is eBay infancy. This is like 2000. And just, I don't know what happened. And I stopped. Now where we're at with things, just, it's one of those, why didn't you keep your Mickey Mantle rookie cards kind of 52 Topses, like just where prices are, and that regret and not foreseeing the future of what could happen, not realizing that I still think we're going to have a bubble burst, but not realizing that it was going to spike again like it did. Just regrets of things, and that's one that I've always had. So when you're talking about these vintage sets, that's the one that I always think of.
So the way I look at it is, yes, I have a lot of regrets on those too. But at the end of the day, the thing is, you can fix it starting now. It's gonna, your cost of entry is higher. But what if in 10 more years you have the same regret and then decide to do? And going with all that, okay, you want to do 1948 Bowman. Well, go ahead and get that Stan Musial rookie. I only know he's in that set because I actually have a SGC graded.
Nice.
I bought it on COMC. I had sold my port. I was like, okay, what can I go buy? And that was one of the things I bought. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know. With us being late 30s to mid 40s, we have the experience of the junk wax era. We've been in the hobby for 30 years, so we have all of those experiences. So we kind of know that things are cyclical. It's going to die off, and then in about 30 more years, there's probably going to be a spike. What we don't know, though, is while we're talking about vintage, we don't know what's going to happen is the generation that's above us does start to pass away. Are those cards going to literally flood the market? And then is that, we've never experienced almost a full generation. We've experienced parts of the a new generation, but not like all three generations. So
what though, the ages that we were for the spike in the late 80s, early 90s, to me, it wasn't a spike. It was just the price of the pack. $1 for upper deck or whatever was just the price of the pack. I never realized, okay, 2 years ago they were 35 cents. It was just is what it is. So I think I really learned this time more so than I learned back then, which, that's the territory being 8 versus 38. That's just how it is. But
I think we've learned things tend to cycle in 30 years.
Yeah.
So just say, there was during the pandemic, there was the junk wax. I just do the air quotes because so many people hate that term. But there was that resurgence from the late 80s to the early 90s. But my wife, who is much more in tune with pop culture and things like that, clothes that were popular in the early 90s are popular again. It's the things that those of us that we may or may not have had as kids, then we go through blah, blah, blah. And now we're getting to that point where we're starting to kind of, so 30 years kind of is that thing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And with the popularity, I get what you were saying about the prices, the packs, but with the popularity, that causes that more demand, higher prices. And then they'll start to, you'll get a correction. And then we'll probably get a dead period in about 20 years. And then in 30 years, when I'm too old to enjoy it, we're going to have another one, because I'll be 72 at that point. So, I mean, my hope is that when I do retire, still like doing cards on eBay and stuff on the side to, help supplement the income just a little bit. But that's a long ways away. But that's where I was getting at. We can kind of see that the 30-year trend seems to be the thing. what was it in the 90s or 90s and 2000s? It was the hippie stuff kind of came back. So it
Yeah.
just all
Yep.
we just haven't had the hobby as a whole long enough to kind of have that. Okay, so what's going to happen to all that earlier stuff that has just been accumulated for 60 years by some of these ladies and gentlemen? Is it going to flood the market, and could it potentially bring down some vintage prices? Maybe, maybe not. But we also know that every year there's less and less of that because it gets lost to a flood, a fire,
Right.
whatever the case may be. Yeah, and they're talking about missing a mantle but getting a 50 Bowman Jackie for $25. About 3 years ago, I almost bought a T206 Cobb at a card show. But it was like overpriced by like 33% basically. It ain't overpriced by 33% no more. So yeah, I mean we've all got them. We always remember those ones better than the steals that we find over the years. So yeah, I don't think there was much else I really like. I mean, obviously it's been about 12 hours maybe since I watched your video, so I can't remember for what all was on there. But I think those were some of the things that really like didn't air quote make sense that I just didn't know about. So I thought it was really fascinating.
So what about I got one, the Mike Piazza? No,
I thought that was a cool thing because he doesn't have. I know that my buddy Jeremy IPTTM is doing like a Topps Piazza run because he's a Hall of Famer. Well, there's no Topps Marlins.
There is no Marlins, right?
Yeah, I know there's not a lot of Marlins, so I just thought that was just an oddity, and the fact that Piazza's a Hall of Famer and you're just a baseball guy.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think too much into that one.
I didn't realize. So where I am, still is the Pittsburgh area, but I'm a Nationals fan. For me, it's Nationals, Mets, Pirates, Orioles, like DC, Maryland, Virginia, Pittsburgh area. It's always been that for me. And the new prospect for the Orioles is Adley Rutschman.
Yeah,
I played at Oregon State, which I'm an Oregon Ducks fan, but I'll take the Oregon State, little slight connection. And I didn't realize, I knew I bought some stuff, but I didn't realize I had bought so many Bowman firsts. And then I bought one more, and I already had a couple at the house. So I'm up to 7 or 8, which they're papers. They're not chromes. But to me, he's going to be the next guy. He's going to be the next. I'm not going to say Trout because people will execute me. But I think he's going to be one of those guys that's top 10. He's not going to be a catcher forever. If he is, it'll be Buster Posey-esque, assuming there's not like the injuries or whatever. But to me, he's a stand-up guy. He's not going to get in trouble. There's not going to be a DUI or beating his girlfriend or, whatever. Everything for him has always been, how it should be. And I hope that he continues that way. So I've been picking him up. And then the Orioles thing doesn't hurt because I already like them as much or as difficult as that is. So that's kind of my new guy, but I know he's already priced out to me. So it's just I'll accumulate some Bowman firsts while I can, and then some cheap inserts, and that's about it.
I mean, yeah, and in the case of him, like I said, it was kind of some of my questions were kind of as I saw the video ended, and then we chatted more throughout the day about doing this tonight. I guess I didn't think too much of the Rutschman thing just because you had bought multiple ones of him.
Yeah.
And again, just knowing you're a baseball guy, I was just like, okay, that's somebody he believes in. So I guess I didn't put as much a thought into that as where Brian Hunter, you're definitely not prospecting Brian Hunter at this point.
I have a text message that I sent a friend of mine year and a half ago or something like that I saved. And I said, Adley's going to be the next Mike Trout. I think he's going to be the face of baseball coming soon. I think he's going to at least be a Harper or a Tatis, but I think he's going to be Trout level. That's my guess. That's my opinion. I'm not, Peter Gammons or nothing over here, but everything I've seen is just sunshine and roses for him. So I'm hoping. But
so the next Trout, not the next Matt Wieters.
Oh God, don't even start. Man, what a bomb that was. Yeah.
That guy needs to be added to the cautionary tales binder.
It's so weird because he doesn't really. He is in that mold, but he doesn't seem to get that credit for being the bust that he was.
Didn't he have like some decent years though?
It was almost like I'm really trying, but I just can't get to where you want me to be. It wasn't like, and he had a couple injuries and stuff, but it was just new uniforms didn't help him. Like he played for the Nationals for a year or two, didn't do anything. I remember him being on Sports Illustrated, and that was when Beckett was doing uncirculated slabbed Sports Illustrated issues. And I remember going back and forth of like, should I get one of these? If I get one, how many should I buy? And now it's like, I'm so glad I didn't buy any of those things because what a waste that would have been. But yeah, I remember he was supposed to be a big deal, but COVID is his view. No.
So my COMC order, so I'll show that off. Probably I'll do a full video sometime next week. It is. I have
one. Wait. I was surprised how many cards actually made it to your house. Because I know you and you fluctuate back and forth. And it was like, what is he buying? That there's 400 cards in this box that actually made it to his house.
But there's not. It's probably only about 75 cards.
What did I see?
You saw a big box, but remember those are graded cards.
It's. I guess that's what it was, but I thought it was left to right, not stacked.
No, it's great. It's a graded card. It's a graded card box. So there's probably, I don't know, 25, 30 graded cards in it. Just graded cards.
Huh.
So, but I mean, it is kind of the size of a 400.
I guess from the picture, I didn't realize how.
You can see right there, it's the old graded card box.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, that came full, and then I had a smaller, like a 300 count box that had this, and this stuff in it.
No, it makes so much.
But again, knowing that I'm not a graded card guy, it definitely has to fascinate people with what those graded cards are. So yeah, I'll probably do that video, release it sometime next week. But a couple I thought I'd show up. So there's like one basketball card.
What? They came in with Humbo?
Nope. You know what? You know what? I'll go ahead and show it to you because not everybody's going to watch it. No, it's not.
Jason Williams.
Nope. You were closer with Charles Barkley.
Karl Malone.
Nope.
Are
you ready for this?
I have no other guesses. So
I don't know how to make my picture bigger, so it just is what it is.
Beckett. Is it authentic? Okay. I did not see that coming at all.
Love me some Dr. J. I don't have much of his stuff, but was just looking for Dr. J autographs. So yeah, Beckett certified Dr. J autograph. So I can say I have a Dr. J. One of the cards I want to get a copy of his rookie. I mean, I'm fine with an SGC one. I just want to be able to earn authentic. I just want to be able to say I have one. Obviously, it was just a little bit before my time. And
yeah, same.
I didn't even see Diego had called it.
Actually, I saw his comment and I thought, is his screen faster for him than it is for me? I thought I was behind.
So it's a Dr. J. I think that's the only basketball. And then some vintage football
Shocker.
and some racing.
Yeah, shocker.
So yeah, I mean, I've got still like another, I don't know, 400 cards that I need to get sent back. But most of these I bought in the reseller mode. So you know that when you send the shipment, you know that when you send the shipment, you got to pay that 25-cent, or on the graded cards, $1 fee every time.
Yeah.
But I'll show you a couple just because. Oh, nope, here's another vintage football I had picked up. I've been doing a lot of YouTube and just like learning about vintage football. So this card's a beater, but I found out about this guy and his story and the end of his life, and he's a football Hall of Famer, Pete Pihos, who ended up with like dementia and all those kind of things. And there is a documentary that his daughter did. You you saw some video of him in his last years.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it was touching, and seeing what a lot of those guys go through. So I bought that. It was like one of the last cards I bought before I had this shipped. So you'll understand these a little bit more than maybe some of the other guys. So Lewis Hamilton, you can't tell from there, but that is a refractor. I think I got it for $7. So, but I got that like a year and a half ago.
Early, yeah.
And then here is a Lewis Hamilton, the purple refractor, numbered out of 399. I think these things go anywhere from about 75 to 100 now. I got it for less than $20.
That stuff is crazy.
It's just, I mean, it's one of those things. You know how I said earlier, we see things repeat themselves in cycles. First major product, chrome product, numbered, guy that probably many consider is the greatest of all time, which I will disagree. But a numbered out of 399. Granted, it's not his main one. It's one of the race winner ones. But there are also some race winner ones from that set. I don't know if you've ever looked at them that are just horrible pictures. There's one where it looks like he's running. There's one where it looks like I think he's jumping into like a bunch of people. This one, he's got the race trophy.
Right.
So that's why I chose that one. And then let's pick a little. Here's a random one. I'm going to send this because I found out he signs through the mail. So this is from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Any idea who that is?
I've never seen it. I have no clue.
That is Barry Bostwick, who was also like the mayor on Spin City.
No way.
Okay. Yeah. And apparently he signs through the mail, and apparently it's legit. Like, it's not stamped or anything like that. So there's that. And then just for a clue of, obviously, I said a decent amount of racing, so you know what that means. Dale Earnhardt relic.
Yeah.
How about these two Dale Earnhardt relics? So yeah. So from doing the NASCAR radio show that they have spiked on the top. So 2 more Dale Earnhardt relics.
Nice.
So that the prices have definitely jumped in racing, but you also know that it happened after all the other stuff did. So we were already into kind of that pandemic, the spike, what was the Chicago Bulls thing, that was kind of when things really started going haywire. Well, I got these kind of in that range, but they were before the spike. These I think I got for like 15 a piece. Now they tend to go up for around 50. These ones, I think I got 10-ish, and they're usually around. Pretty much any Earnhardt relic at this point has just about a floor of about 50.
We're getting to the point where people are actually getting upset that some of these jerseys and suits and stuff are getting cut up. People don't want to cut up a Babe Ruth jersey anymore for a card. They want to keep it as a full jersey and put it in a museum. And Dale, I mean, obviously I'm not going to, say it, but it's not like Dale's racing more with more race suits and more race used tires. And so, he is in that group of guys where we're not going to cut his stuff off anymore. You know what I mean? Like, So I think if you can get that stuff from 10 or 15 years ago from Press Pass, that's not a bad buy ever. I mean, it's not going to go down. It's not like he's having more options.
Not as long as the Wicked Bitch of the South is alive.
Well, there's that too.
So I heard.
But even so, I don't think it would matter.
Well, I heard on the the Dale Jr. podcast once that so apparently, like, just a couple of days after the wreck, after he died, they just went up and sealed off his office.
Huh.
Trophies, race suits, everything has just been in that room for
Interesting.
21 years now. And you have to wonder what condition that stuff is in, because there's been nobody in there to keep out other things. So that stuff may literally be gone. You know, mice, rats, potentially, whatever.
I mean, I hope they did something with it, but
I mean, I would hope, but again, I'm just going by what I heard Dale Jr. say on his podcast. You know, that basically that stuff has just been sealed off, and that's the end of it. So again, not that if that stuff ever came out, it would make it into a trading card product or anything like that anyway. But I mean, I think there's probably a much better chance of still there being like tire cards, but as far as race suits and stuff like that.
Yeah, now we're just talking about willingness.
Yeah.
So hey, real quick, I totally forgot, and then Diego mentioned Jose leaned.
Oh, I didn't think too much of that, just because
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I had it was funny, I had just it was Tony Black's video. He got Jose Lean through the mail just in the last few days he did his video, and I had just posted on his video that I mean, that Jose Lean Donruss rated rookie card was like one of the hottest cards amongst the fourth grade boys at First Ward Elementary School.
Yep.
Everybody loved Chico Lean because he was the little guy. We were kids. Kids always liked the little second baseman. You had Blauser in there. My younger cousin, always liked Blauser.
I always loved Blauser and Lemke.
Yeah, Blauser and Lemke, because they were just kind of the smaller guys and, played infield and all that. So I didn't think anything of that. But go ahead on the Chico Lean. There may be more to it than that. But
no, not really. I mean, I actually was buying them because I wanted back to the collecting NFL and NBA Hall of Famers, Hall of Fame rookies. I wanted some reason to collect baseball guys besides being a favorite player. So I started doing rookie binders. So they're in alphabetical order by last name. When I need another binder, I just add on, and then I, spread them out and stuff. So there was like Todd Zeal and stuff in there too. So I was just buying rookie cards of guys that I needed.
Oh, you did. I remember you had a Zeal in there too.
Yes, and I think like Bernard Gilkey, and just I don't care if they're worthless, because to me it's guys that weren't once upon a time. So I needed some Chicos, and I needed some guys to fill up pages, and I had some money, and I'm hoping actually when I go to the card show and I don't have a time, like I need to be home or anything because I'm out of town, I'm hoping I can find some stuff and dig through some boxes. But anyways, back to your box. I just saw his comment.
Oh, no. That's, but I was just thinking, like, man, that 90 rookie class definitely had a couple of busts. Zeal still had a decent career, so I wouldn't necessarily. I would almost put Zeal more in the Greg Jeffries. Maybe didn't live up to the hype, but wasn't a bust. Because I love when people say Jeffries is a bust. I'm like, Jeffries was damn near a 300 hitter, made an all-star team or two. Just because he wasn't the next.
This wasn't the
because he wasn't whoever. I'm trying to think of the great second baseman there, because he wasn't their next Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of offensive. But yeah, I mean, he had a very solid career, and what did he play? Almost 15 years. You don't play 15 years. You don't play 15 years if you suck.
Yeah, it was a while.
Or if you're a complete bust. I mean, I know that big prospects, they get, people are willing to hang on longer and see if they can somehow come around. But yeah, I guess I'd put Zeal more in that, because Zeal played a good 10 years or so. Yeah, I wasn't really going to say a whole lot more just because I'm going to do a video on it.
That works.
So, but that was kind of some of the. But yeah, there's some graded vintage football, 50s Bowman. I love the 50s Bowman stuff, more like that 50 Bowman there. I found, let me just pick one. Most of these, so like a 1951 Bowman PSA 5, you what would you think I would pay for that?
When did you buy it?
In the late part of last year.
Late part of 21 or
Yes.
20?
21.
Late part of 21, I would say 35.
Most of them were $10.
What?
I can't remember who it was. It was one of the big sellers. They must have just got a hell of a steal and just dumped a bunch of them on COMC for like $10.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm talking mid grades. I'm talking 4s, 5s, and maybe a 6 or something, and got them for $10. Yeah.
So the best deal I've ever gotten on a graded card on COMC was 2018 during the National, because when we were in the hotel, I was surfing COMC just looking for stuff. I bought an Aaron Donald Topps Chrome rookie PSA 9 for $2. Wow. And
I don't know what it goes for. That guy's already in the Hall of Fame.
I sold it a year ago for $90.
Oh,
but I remember thinking, who in their right mind would even let a graded card go for $2, let alone Chrome rookie Aaron Donald? And it was 2018, so it wasn't like he was a new guy. I mean, he'd been there for 4 or 5 years, whatever that is. So that's my best COMC deal ever. That's the one I remember.
I gotta say it was just either an error or the other thing, because like I said, I mean, this was, I can't remember who I bought it from, but like I said, it was a name, it was a company, a reseller. You know what I mean? Like
one of the big ones.
Not Probstein, but I'm just saying somebody with that kind of name relatively. Was it David Adams? It might have been David Adams. I think it was David Adams. But anyway, or the other thing is somebody bought a huge port and they were just trying to do whatever. But
move through it.
That's still stupidly underpriced. I mean, that guy's he's basically already a Hall of Famer, isn't he?
I would imagine. Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So that's so that'll do. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm probably gonna do. I did a video on. I did it on Tuesday. It was a half-hour racing, like recent pickups, because like I said, I hadn't done videos in a couple of months. So I've got some more of those I need to do. I've got like a baseball one the only reason I care to do the baseball one is because I know it'll get views. Because honestly, I have very few views on that racing video, and that's the way it's going to be. I get that, but that's, like I said, on the NASCAR radio. That's kind of where I think I find my happy spot, and I kind of find myself coming back to the Earnhardt type stuff the last couple of years. More the stuff from when I followed it, as from that group chat, and then it was in that
you
video
picked up for sure.
Wax. I picked up a lot of wax, and I'm keeping an eye on that stuff. Some of that stuff that I couldn't get when I was a kid because it was too expensive.
I feel the same way. I do the same exact thing.
And I'm, like I said, what I think I'm going to do is in time, I'm going to open them, and I'm probably just going to go and put the set together, because with NASCAR, usually you can get most of the set out of a box.
Yeah.
So that'll be, other than like 1991 Max, where the set was like 400 cards or something. But hell, I guess you did get about 300 in a box.
Yeah.
I got like 12 of those boxes for $5 a piece.
I'm hoping with the area that I'm in, I can find some racing stuff on Sunday for cheap. Just because I know people still don't pay attention to it. So, but I'll try to do a video because I'll still be in the hotel this weekend. So when I get back,
you got your phone. I guess it'll give you something to do.
I got my little mat with me too for travel videos. See, I'm there. I need the confidence, Ken. I need the confidence.
But does doing this and doing NASCAR radio, does that help? I mean, because now that you guys are doing that on
No.
video,
I'll
I don't
talk to
understand
you
why.
all day long. I don't care if there's a camera. I'll talk to you all day long. It's something about when I'm by myself, because I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about what you're saying and my thoughts aren't getting in the way. But when it's just me, it's just like mind is just going crazy of like your voice sounds weird, or are you in the picture? That
Okay,
sort of stuff.
I hate my own voice. I don't go back and watch my videos. I don't edit my videos. I
Yeah.
probably never will edit my videos because that would mean I would have to hear my voice. So
I
the
don't know
only
what it is, man. I don't get it.
you get used to it. It just is what it is. As long as you
Well, and
got
it's
something.
like I've gotten better. Like in school, I was like, I don't want to do that stuff. And then you do it in college and you do more. And then when I was a paint rep, there could have been 100 people in the store for a presentation. Didn't care. But for some reason, when I am by myself, I think it's just I have time to think and second guess. And I don't have that with you because I'm on the fly thinking and, whatever.
I mean, just like I said, just kind
It
of
is
explain.
what it
Like,
is.
I thought you did a good job with it. The only suggestions I have would be um, maybe try to hold the cards out a little further because obviously we had a little trouble. I mean, when you set them down, we could see them, but like the full was it. That's
Oh,
just
I
a
know.
matter of
Yeah.
messing with camera settings or whatever. But honestly, I mean, the fact that you went through them so fast was a necessity because otherwise
There
the
were
video
so
would have been
many. Yeah.
So I think the fact that you went through them that fast actually probably helped you a little bit.
Well, and I know we're recording this like it's a tell-all book here, but like the only thing I have with me is a little phone stand. I don't have like a camera that's more of that straight on, like we would use for breaks at Steel City and stuff like that. So like my angle with that little phone holder, it's not the greatest. And then trying to keep the card in and get the mat and all that stuff, it just was not working out. So
I mean, yeah, but like you said, I mean, you probably find a different stand or something for like $15 sometime at
yeah,
Walmart.
here's the thing: I have everything I would need at home because I've accumulated accessories, but it's just traveling with it.
Remember to
Because,
take it.
well, it's not even that, because with my job, I'm supposed to be gone for 10 days in the same place. However, at any point in time, my boss could call and say, hey, I need you to go somewhere else. And I might have to go from rental car to plane. And it's like, I kind of have to travel light.
Gotcha.
Like I can't bring a 5,000 count box of cards to sort on the weekends, because if I have to go on a plane,
Yeah,
that
no, I
means
got
I have to ship it home, and you know how expensive that would be. So it's like I'm still learning what to bring and what not to bring because I just started with this job. So it's in work in progress, we'll say.
because I was
I
thinking the
saw
same
it. I
thing. I
saw it.
had to
I'll
pull it
put it
up
up
because he
there.
does. I think his video that I watched today. I'm pretty sure he's in his hotel room.
Yeah.
I get it, but like you said, it's new. I mean, you've only been at this job for what, a couple weeks?
We are at 5 weeks right now.
5 weeks.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'm learning what to bring, what not to bring. So all that stuff.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to bring, like you said, a full camera and all that kind of stuff. But that's why I was saying like maybe a different phone stand or whatever. Again, I'm not even being super critical because honestly I could see everything. I was just saying that was about the only real thing that I really thought anything of. Now you might struggle a little more if you're only showing like 20 cards because you're
Yeah.
going to want to talk about them just from what you're saying. But honestly, I thought your video today was, like I said, I had
So
no issues with it.
what Diego is saying, that's also a plan. I have legal pads upon legal pads of ideas, because that's our mentality and the content and the history. It's just I'm that guy that's like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do, and it's like, okay, well, now I don't have time. So
I do that with videos and writing. I've got one right here. Video, getting to know me. Idea stolen from Vintage Cards, Steve. Because those of us, when we follow somebody new, I would say most of us probably do not go back and watch old videos.
Right.
So, like, I've talked about some of these things 2 or 3 times, but I've been doing videos for 3 years. So there's stuff that people haven't heard before. Now, some people are going to get bored, maybe, but you can always do that. And sometimes I'll just write a quick outline. I'm doing these. I'm doing these cards. This is where it came from. And then I just BS the rest of it.
Well, and even some of the, like, you asked questions about some of the cards, and we'll wrap this up. But I'm buying Bernard Gilkey, Todd Zeal, Kevin Moss, Jose Leaned. Somebody that's just like randomly finding the videos probably thinking, what in the hell is this guy doing? Because I knew I had 3 boxes to go through, and I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. But like what Diego's saying, take 20 of those cards and be like, okay, this is why I bought XYZ, so, but with what I was doing, I was traveling. I'm just like, let's just do this one video, see how it goes. And then I didn't think it would take that long. I thought it would take like half that time. And then it was like, holy crap, this is taking forever. But I can't stop now because I'm in deep, and that whole thing. So,
I mean, you'll eventually, like I said, you'll be able to kind of,
right.
You'll kind of have a better idea of what you're doing. So I was going to say that, what was I going to say? Oh, so I mentioned Jeremy. He lives a few hours south of me here in Texas, but he commented at least once, but I think he's commented a few times, like how it seems like I have a story that goes with every card. But I think that those of us that are collectors, like the guys that have been in the chat tonight, guys like Jeremy, we appreciate that. We want to know the why. Why do you want it? Why did you get this? What does it mean to you? That's what
why I love Josh Fogg collection, because everybody's like, why?
Oh, and I forgot to mention it. I forgot to mention it when you talked about that earlier. Jason was featured in Beckett with that Josh Fogg collection back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the photo I've seen you use that photo a lot.
That's how I just use it for everything. It's a good photo, I think. It's my skinnier days.
Well, we all had skinnier days. But yeah, you said, but yeah, that's, I think, if you're going to start doing this a little bit more, and you're kind of at least in this group with this group of guys and Herman and all that, I mean, we are definitely the collectors. We're not the flip vesters, the card bros, the shiny card guys. Yeah, they're not going to give a shit about it, but they don't give a shit about mine and
right.
Dan's and Diego's, and none of us care about that. So, like I said, John said, I already highlighted once. Every collector has something to say, all unique stories. Yeah, I love hearing why somebody collects Josh Fogg, or why Dan Korean Cardboard there is a Mark Burley super collector.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm trying to kind of sneak up through here. Gary just collects everything. That's elbow sausage. He just collects anything and everything. I was trying to see. Obviously, you've already kind of seen what Diego does. I mean, he's pretty much Philly teams and then Steelers. But he's kind of like us in that, he's collected for a long time and just kind of collects everything.
Yeah. So my favorite stat, and I might have the number wrong, but the important number I know. My favorite stat is I have 7.5 game used bats. And that's one where people are like, what do you mean? I have a barrel from a broken bat, but I have the barrel part that has the marks and it says Josh Fogg on it. So it's like the part that you would want. You don't want the handle. You give a shit about the handle. But that's one that I always am like, 7.5 bats.
All right, so you need to start watching some of our videos.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not easy, but hey, the reason I say that is it's kind of segue. So I posted a video this week, and Diego commented. I know I can't. Dan commented for sure. I think John commented too. I did one about, do you collect your name? I finally found a card with somebody that has my last name on it. Not a player. It actually ended up being a strength coach. But
hey, it is what it is.
I'm transitioning to ask you, did you ever find that card you were pictured on? Did you ever find a copy of that?
So
you got to see. You could go and talk about it here, but then you got to do a video about that on your channel.
I mean, in due time. So the West Virginia Black Bears, it's a minor league card, but the card's a card, right? So West Virginia Black Bears, I think this was like 2016 or something like that. My first son was born. My second one wasn't. So somewhere in there. We were in second row seats, and you can't tell that it's me if you don't know. Like, you can't see my face because the player's in focus, but the background is a little fuzzy on purpose. But you can see that it's my big ass 6'6" in the second row, and you can see me and my wife, and we're blurry, and then my son is blocked by the player. So yeah, I had found them, and then I just kept putting off buying them, and I did actually get them. So I have 2 of them. Nice. Dude, I don't think ever made it to the pros, but I know I'm in the background of a card. So
yeah, and even if you're not, unfortunately, you're not quite as clear as the Menendez brothers in that card,
right?
But nonetheless, it's you, and that's freaking awesome. Like I said, I mean, I don't know how many other people have ever been on a card. I know there's one, I think there's one where there's some Chris Bryant card, and there is some big collector that was pictured on, and I remember just seeing something about it one time. I mean, how damn cool would that be to be on a card?
I can't believe it took as long as it did for the Menendez brothers to get noticed on the card. It's clear as day, man.
I mean, that was during the spike too, so I mean, it was just more people, more eyes on it. But yeah, it sounded like you were about ready to wrap this up. I'm not too upset about that. So
I mean, it's 12:08 here, so
it is, and you're going to a card show in the morning.
No,
or is it Sunday?
Sunday. I'm just trying to sleep a little bit tomorrow.
Oh, okay, or drive to Indianapolis for a show.
No.
All right. Well, anything else we I didn't give you enough chance to talk about or anything?
Oh, you gave me plenty of chances. We're good.
I know I'm bad sometimes about speaking over people, and I do it, and I say tell myself I'm never going to do it again, and then I do it again in about 5 minutes. So it is what it is.
Nope. Anyway, all good. I feel the same way. So
I think everybody. I don't know if Dan and Gary were in here the last time. Just go ahead and go through your where they can find you again. One last time.
So everything for me is Jason Dean Martin for the most part, and then started a channel and some social for Preserve the Hobby. Preserve the Hobby on YouTube and on Instagram, I believe, but I don't think there's anything up there yet. And then on Twitter, it's Preserve Hobby. But still not a lot out there yet, but it's there.
Yeah, like I said, he kind of like me. It's like we've done different things over time, but just never quite stuck with anything for a decade or so.
Yeah, the focus is lacking.
Yeah, between podcasts and heck, even the job, when you did work with the hobby a little bit. So, but yeah, so I got nothing else. So thanks for joining with us, everybody in the chat. Hope we help keep you entertained tonight.
Absolutely.
Maybe how long are you going to be doing some of this traveling?
Like this week or permanently?
Just in general. It's not going to be a permanent thing, is it?
I mean, my job is 10 days on the road, 4 days home. 10 days on the road, 4 days home.
I thought this was just training.
No. So my job is travel, but this is the first time I haven't been sent home early because a job was done or that we got done early. So I've always kind of missed my weekend of freedom You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Because Saturday and Sunday I don't work, or if I work, it's only for a couple hours. So this is the first time I'm getting to like go do something. So everything else has just been go to the store, come back, go to the store, come back.
I guess I could have asked you that off
No, you're good.
the public, but
Hey,
yeah,
everybody wants to know.
maybe we can start doing these a little more often. Just
Yep,
like I
that's
said,
the plan.
just BS. I mean, it's good for your Wednesday night recording. At least you don't have to
Yeah, it actually is. Yeah.
deal with that. So yeah, so that's it, guys. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, it really, you guys make it a lot better. I'm pretty sure I can speak for Jason on that one, because y'all
Yeah,
bring up things
absolutely.
y'all bring up things we don't think about, and y'all ask some good questions, about like Jose Lean and stuff like that. All right, guys. We will talk at you later. Like I said, we may try to do this a little more often. So
Yep,
we'll
hopefully.
catch you guys. What was it? What do I say? What do I say at the end of mine? Be smart, be safe, don't be a dickhole. Be kind to animals. Have your pets spayed or neutered. We'll see you down the road.